All right, bought this countertop at Lowe's. It's 24-inch for a regular countertop for your sink. But as you see, our vanity here is only 18 inches. And so this thing is going to be too long in every direction. I also cut this piece out. We're going to glue this on the side of this to save this vanity. And then that'll varnish that up and it'll look really nice. Should have been filming this because I just cut this guy off here. So here's how we did it. Got my measurement, made a pencil mark on all the way around it. Used a square and made a pencil mark all the way around it. Taped it all off so you don't get splinters and stuff like that and pieces and chips coming out. So when you peel the tape off, it comes out. Pretty nice. That's the file. Once you put your face on it. Not my face, its face. So now we've got the right width we want. Now we just need the right cut. Now we need it, yeah. So I measured it back where I want my face here to stick out over. And I went back here and I measured it for where it's going to go against the wall. We're actually going to cut this backsplash completely off of there. So what I did there is made my pencil mark where I want to cut it and transferring it over to the face of it. I'd rather cut on the face of it than the back side. If you cut on the back side, you're going to get splinters. I say splinters, I mean chips. So we're going to make that mark come up onto the top. Here, here. Run straight edge across those points. A little hard to see a pencil mark on, I think they call this toffee color, but we only need pencil marks to run our tape line. And then I follow the tape. Put it on the side that you don't want to chip up. When I used to help somebody pinstripe cars. Shout out to Davey, who's never been in the Navy. He probably never will be for life. Anyway, you want to get it nice straight line. Ah! I was doing so good until I had it. That's a bummer.
This countertop sounds like a carnival.
Does it smell like a beer?
I wish.
Okay, we're really on the Billy Joel here. Anyway, you can walk a piece of tape around to keep it straight, and you can kind of just touch it in spots to get a nice straight line out of it. Beautiful. Yeah. I think some people make a mistake, you know, they kind of like go along and they tap it down, but it's better if you can eye it all along like that. That's how you do pinstripe. So that's how I do this. So
Tap, tap, tap.
Our cut will be on this side over here. So let's see. I don't want to cut the cabinet. That would be bad. Do all this work and then I just adjust the blade, put it on the edge of the product, and kind of adjust it so it just sticks down a little bit. There's no sense in having your blade all the way down where it works harder on your blade, and sometimes it'll chip it more too if you got your blade deep down the side there. Okay. And here we go.
Ding.
So when we cut that other piece, to cut that back lip off, so when I cut this, I actually had my blade all the way down like that. I started here and I come down like that until I couldn't go any further, and then I come on this side, so I have my lines all the way around, connected my line buried it down here as far as I could, that way. Then came back over here, come across till it stopped. You pretty much got it. So they're a little tricky. The pieces that we're saving come out really nice, but you can almost see where my two lines joined, where we had to cut this one and I cut that one. So, but this one come out a little better, and then I can file it.
You might want to talk about why it chipped. Because,
Oh yeah, that was my mistake. I did not let the saw wind up enough before I actually did not think I was up against it. I had it close. I thought I was back just a little bit, hit the trigger, and I must have just barely moved, and it went and.
So did it chip underneath?
Not much.
Not bad.
That's cockable.
Yeah,
that. I mean, well, actually, we're going to probably cut.
Yeah,
we're going to cut this off.
And we can see on this one,
so we can glue this back on top.
And we can see on this one what the chip looked like.
Well, yeah,
what
that
it would
was
have
quite
chipped like if we didn't have tape. Probably.
Yeah, that was quite extensive. So that is, yeah. That was just a quick reflex flaw, whatever you want to call it, on my part. I just kind of bumped it. But hey,
good thing we had the tape.
And then, like I said, this piece here, we're gonna end up putting the backsplash.
Yeah.
Cut that off and put it on top of it. So shouldn't be an issue. But now
That's how you cut a countertop.
Cut this guy down. So I'll cut it right on. See, actually, they just glue that.
Yeah.
So all I got to do is follow that line. Now, problem with that is.
Now, are you going to cut it on this line or on this line?
This line here needs to cut off right here. So
and so you're just going to put it on top?
Yeah, because that's all that is now. See, that was like that. So that's glued onto the top.
Yep.
But if I can, I'm going to try something. I'm going to see if I can't unglue it and cut that maybe. If it don't work, I've usually just run my circular saw through this way. You run a risk of splintering out. I say splinters, I'm chipping out your formica on this side if you do that. It's always better to cut from the face if you want to save. But all right, let me play around with this for a minute, see if this works. If not, we'll cut it. Old press board, not as much. Oh, you're gonna film it?
No, see how it goes.
Well, let's try.
If it works, it works.
Too time consuming. It's melting the glue, which I don't like.
That probably gums up your blade and doesn't let you cut it.
And actually, by the time I cut it here, it's a little lower than my cut was here. It's kind of stages down a little bit, so I'm not in love with that.
That would fix if you started over with it, but
yeah, but it's gonna take forever. PC's trying to go get his other blade. We'll give that a shot. This one's not working. So in checking out my layout, where the sink's gonna go, being that this is getting a little bit on the short side, I wanted to see how far we need with our overhang sticking out over the cabinet, and then we have, the bracing basically up underneath there, and so that'll come right in here, because this is upside down. Obviously, I want to get that as tight to the front as I can right here. So I figured all my math out. I got a little bit of leeway there. So I'm getting really close on the back here. So what I did was, I ended up, I cut that, but remember that had that little edge rolled out on it. So I cut that off in the table saw. So now I've got enough room. I can hedge that sink just a little bit that way. And I got enough room for everything to fit when I go to cut out the sink. So I got this cut off here, ran that through the table saw, cut that back lip off. Again, lots of tape, but come out pretty nice. So what I did was I took a level from off of the center of my light, carried that mark down to here. I measured over 17 3/4 to the center line, found center, slide that in place to there. I'm not going to screw this straight tonight. I gotta do the plumbing, cut the hole, and I need an adapter for the pipe that comes up short, so I can't go any further with that tonight, unfortunately. But there's that piece I made for the side. I gotta cover that end up. Got enough space to get in and out of the tub without much problem. Plenty of room for your toilet right here. Should all work out. I think what I'm going to do to gain a little bit more space is probably hold this out just a little bit from the wall here, because you know on the ends I've got that iron on glued. I don't know what here from me. It's Formica that you put on there, and then it'll run wild anyway because it's bigger. They make the pattern bigger, so you can actually put it on here. You glue it on, you heat it, and it sticks. And then you cut the excess off, and then you file it at an angle. It comes off. A little bit of work. So this wall, yeah, there's a little bit of a bow. Yep. Wall has a little bit of a bow to it, unfortunately, like this. So, what are you gonna do? This old house should be really good. All right. Of course, that flips over, by the way. I'm just laying it on there for a template, but at any rate, got the doors here too. Yep. Not like recycling. Recycling the old. It'll match the kitchen pretty much. I wanted a little bit different countertop, just so it looks somewhat different. Like I said, things have changed around from when we originally had done things. Outlet's a little bit over to the right more than I would have wanted it to be. If we were going to put a bigger vanity in here, which I thought we were going to do, that would have been fine. But then you crowd out the toilet. So one nice thing is we got this corner over here. He's talking about if we can maybe make some kind of a shelving unit or something there for your towels and stuff like that. That would be great. So we'll maybe work on something like that. Why not? We've made custom countertops, cabinets, you name it. We don't do it a lot, but it is something that's kind of fun sometimes. So maybe we'll get into that too. All right, well, that's going to be it for today. And see where we're going tomorrow. Nope, tomorrow's weekend. See, I have no idea whether I'm coming or going. I'm working too much. Hey guys, all right, now back to the countertop. So what I did was I put a couple of wedges back here because I need every little bit I can get. Kind of discussed this on the last video. And this is getting the ironed on trim, so we won't have to worry about that in the backsplash. So I've got 2 1/4. If you measure back from the back of this vanity and to the face of this, so I measured from here over 2 1/4. I want that sitting like right about there because I want every little available mount I can get here. And so what I did was I measured that, and then I centered this. I measured and centered my center line front and back so that my bowl's oriented right. Laid it down, and I kind of turned my pencil in so you won't see it after we caulk it. Traced it out, and that should be right where it needs to be. And then when I cut it, I can actually cut it in. There's a lot of meat on the sides. This part here is 3/4 of an inch, so I got to leave this area right here to be 3/4 of an inch. So we can probably like slide that back. So right in here, from about here to here. I don't know if you can see my line. It's right here. That was the 2 1/4 line, and then this is where the end of the bowl is. But I'm going to actually cut it to that line, so I'll have to remark this the whole way around that 3/4 or so of an inch in, and that ought to. I hope that makes sense. And like I said, with a pencil, you don't see it too bad, but I can see it. All I'm going to do is just drill a hole and then run the jigsaw run around. This will be pretty easy because I don't have the backsplash on there anymore now. So that should work out pretty easy for cutting it. A lot of times it's hard when you get up in here if you're too tight close to the, you need like a jam saw or something to get in that last bit of cut there, but this one's pretty good. So I'll get her cut and we'll see how it turns out. So it worked out really, really well. Now that backsplash, this was off a country mile. This was walls bowed. So I actually dug into the drywall a little bit there. I made just a little bit of an edge here, but that's caulkable. And our edges are caulkable now. I also took this back piece on a belt sander and took some off of there too. I'm gonna get some color match caulking to run along here that I unfortunately don't have with me right now, or I'd get this thing all buttoned up. And we'll caulk the top, the bowl down in it, and we should be good to go. And see how I have just the right amount of room there. Got plenty of room in the back for my fixture. All good. Only another thing. The Blue Store only has the 1.25 inches. They don't have the 1.5 inches. I had a trap here I was going to use. Now this is actually an S trap, and you can still buy these, but they're not really recommended anymore. In fact, if you're building anything new, or you're doing a remodel or anything where it's going to get inspected, they won't pass that. Apparently what happens is the water in those traps, it causes enough of a siphon that whatever's laying in the trap can get sucked on through, and then you can get your off gassing. So they don't want you to use these anymore. But in this case, this is kind of the way this setup was. Although you can see it didn't line up with our old holes, but you know, we could put something down on top of this. I don't know if this is really becoming worth it, all the work we're doing for this vanity. I could have bought a new one, but I think once it's done, it'll look pretty nice. It was like 59 bucks for the countertop and some labor, and everything else he pretty much had. So hey, pretty cheap, I guess, for a vanity, and it'll match the kitchen. So, and I got the toilet in. And need a supply line, ready to be able to test that out. And put a piece of trim in, got the shower head in. But yeah, I'll get that trim in and get the register painted, and this room will be basically done. And we got the Phantom Carpenter over there putting trim in the kitchen, so we're gonna have the kitchen done pretty soon too. All right, well guys, take care, and we'll see you again next time. And I hate to say it, but don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, because I didn't want to be one of those people, but it's just something you got to say. So, all right, you won't hear it much from me.